Hello guys, hope you guys are doing well. In this session, we talk about MySQL Python. This is the final third session of MySQL topic. And in this topic, we will discuss about update operations, join operations, performing transactions. Right. Let's talk about update operation. The update set statement is used to update any column inside the table. The following SQL query is used to update a column. Let's see what is the SQL query is going to use to update the column. Let's update employee set name is equal to Alex, where ID is equal to 110. Right, we are trying to update employee's ID 110 name to Alex. Hmm? Let's check this out in our example. Right, let's see how we can use this kind of operations. We'll try to update it, right? For this, what I do is for a handy, I'll copy the last example, last example code so that I'll paste it here. So what we need to do is only we need to change this statement, and instead of select, what I use update employee whose ID is employee uh, update employee set name is equal to Alex. You can use a single or a double quote where ID is equal to 110. Right. This is not reading data. This is updating the name of the employee whose ID is 110. Now, now. After that, what we need is fetch. This is done. My connection dot commit. We'll remove this fetching rows. We don't need that. Okay. We don't need this. We don't need this. We'll delete that. And right, then my connection dot rollback and my connection dot close. And before that, we need my connection dot commit. So we need that. Right, now I'll execute this. Let's see what happens. Now the execution has been success. Let's check the command line. Let's check the ID of 110, and the ID of 110 is John, and we changed it to Alex. Let's refresh it and let's see. So 110 is Alex now, right? Is it clear? Right. Now, where is our point? Next one is delete operation. The delete from statement is used to delete a specific record from the table. Here we must impose a condition using where clause, otherwise all the records from the table will be removed. You got to be very careful what you're doing, deleting. This is the SQL query. In SQL query, let's type it on the screen. Delete from employee where ID is equal to 110. This will delete ID 110. Right? Let's check this out in code. where is it? We can use the last example code and we can paste it here. Delete. Right. Instead of updating, deleting employee details, deleting details whose ID is that. Okay, now delete from employee where ID is equal to 110. Right? Rest will be same. Execute. Let's see what do we have. So 110 should be removed. Alex 110. Now we have only three. 110 has been removed. That is a delete statement. Right. Hope this might help you guys. Right. Now we go to next part. We have a join operation. We can combine the columns from two or more tables by using some common columns among them. By using the join statement, we have only one table in our database. Let's create one more table, departments, with two columns, department ID and department name. Right, now we'll create a table with department name. Okay, let's create a table with department. Okay, we'll go back to code. We'll copy the code how to create, select. Where is our create statements? Select, and this is select from employee, and insert. This is insert. This is also insert. This is a alter, and before that create a table. Okay, I'll copy this. Now here I'm creating a new table, right? So employee, instead of employee, what I say, department. In department I need department ID. Department ID is int20, primary key not null, right? The next one I need department name. I'll remove the salary and department underscore name var 20, and this is not null, right? This will create a new table for department, right? Let's execute this. So the table has been created. We can check our table has been created or not. Just click on table and refresh it. It should create a department we have. So we have columns is department ID and department name, right? Now what we do is we'll insert few variables, few data into the table. All right, let's insert some departments IDs and department names so that we can map this to our employee table. No, we have to insert the values. Let's insert some departments IDs and department names so that we can map this to our employee table. Next, I've copied this insert code what we have discussed in our previous tutorials. So rather than wasting our time and inserting this, so what I did was, so all right, let's edit this code. We'll enter only two columns, two data, so we don't need all those six. Now remove this. What we need is 102 is IT, and here is 101 is accounts, right? And this is departments. Is it department or departments? Let me check. It is department, not S. So departments, and what we have in there? We have department ID, department name. We have department ID and name. We have only two values, so we don't need this five one, right? So multiple records inserted successfully in department table, right? Let's execute this. Multiple records inserted successfully in department table, right? Let's check our table, what we have here. Select all statement. You know, select all statement. So this is our select all statement. We select it from here. It is select all statement. So we'll execute this code and see. So we have department and we have department name, and nothing has been inserted into that. So we need to refresh this. Refresh department ID, department name. It might be something wrong. Department DPT ID, DPT, DPT ID, DPT name. Name should be N capital. Okay. This is this. Again, there is an error. Insert into department, department ID, department name, department ID, department name, department ID 102 account. Well, insert. Is it many? Why it's saying record count -1? There is something wrong going on. Insert into department. Uh, what we do is I'll enter manually here 102 department name IT, and here we have 101 and department name is accounts, right? Let's map it this way rather than wasting time, right? And now right now we have two tables and we can check it here. So we have table 1 and table 2. uh, Allowance. Okay, now what department? uh, Select insert statement into department ID is values 101 comma IT. This should be executed. Why it's not executing? One row is affected. Insert, refresh. Okay, done. And now I'll go for 102 and accounts. Now I'll execute it here and refresh. Right, we have it here. Right, now we have two tables, accounts, department and employee. So we need to join both the tables together. Because of that, we have created the table department. Now we have select star from department and we have select star from employees. Now we have select star from employee and select star from department. Let's execute this. So we have department ID. Right. Now let's create a Python script that joins the two tables on the common column, that is department ID. Let's move on to Python code join. join two tables. Right. Let's import MySQL dot connector. Now create the connection object. My connection is equal to my SQL dot connector dot connect host is equal to the host comma. I'll copy it from here. Right, the connection has been copied. We'll move further from there, from the connection string. Let's move on to try. Try, and what is try? Joining the two tables on departments underscore ID. Right, CUR underscore execute, select employee dot ID, comma, employee dot ID, comma, employee dot name, comma, employee dot salary, comma, department dot department underscore ID, comma, department dot department underscore name from. It should be capital N department. We have entered departments from from department join employee on department dot department underscore ID is equal to employee underscore ID. Right. This is the our code query to join these two tables. After that, what we have to do is print ID, name, salary, department underscore ID, department underscore name. This we are going to print it here. Right. Now for row in first is print what are you printing here? Percentage D space percentage, sorry, percentage S, percentage D again, percentage D again, 1 2 3 4 5. So we need percentage S again, and here we need to add percentage and row of 0, comma, row of 1, comma, row of 2, comma, row of 3, comma, row of 4. This is the end. uh, right. After that, what we need is accept, accept my con dot rollback, and and this is my connection dot close. Right, this will be our code to join the two tables. Let's execute this and see what will happen. And right, it should be printed. So we should get a result. We haven't got the result. There is something wrong over there with our query. Let's check what is the wrong. Right, let's execute this now. Let's see what would be the result we will get. Hmm, why we are not getting the result? Hmm, it should display the results. Alright, this will be the scenario how you're going to connect to the two tables. Let's move to the second topic is right join. Right join. Right join shows all the columns of the right hand side table as we have two tables in the database Python DB. That is departments and employee. We do not have any employee in the table who is not working for any department. Employee for which department ID is null. However, to understand the concept of write down, let's create one. Now we will execute the values, insert into the values where we add the different ID so that we can use that ID. Before we execute this query, we need to check department ID column accepts the null values. If not set to accept null values, then change it to accept the null values because we are not entering the department ID. So we'll go back to database and we will open the table and here insert. We go to insert. So we have department ID is set to null. Let's see. Here, what do we have? Create table, delete table, drop table, truncate. Table inspector, right? So we need to go for star columns. So we have department ID null values. Yes, we have to change that. Index is department ID is nullable. Triggers foreign. I'll copy that and I'll update that for a time being. I'll update table employee name varchar. We don't need that. Just we need department ID to set to null. So we don't need that primary key as well. I'll remove all those things. Now I'll execute this code and see I'm trying to make int department ID null. Should accept null values. Now I'll execute this code and error code you have syntax error manual that corresponds to your server version to the right. Uh, it's not letting me do the changes. No. Right, I have changed the query department ID to null from here. Right, I'll close this all, and now we have to insert, right? Now update table. This is done. We don't need that. Don't save. Don't save. Right. Now here I am going to insert the values. Insert statement. Hmm. And I'll open this, and here copy table, clipboard, update statement, insert statement. What is happening here? Insert statement. Okay. Here it is. Insert statement. So what I'm going to insert is name, ID, and alt. All right. Now I will enter here. Till here is Amir. Name is Amir, and oh, right, comma. ID is 108, and the salary would be $7,800, and department ID is null, and branch name is Melbourne. I'll go through. Let's execute this and see what will happen. And we have a record corresponding to MySQL server. Why we have received this error? All right, I'll open the next tab and execute the copy to select all statement. Enter select all statement. Right? Let's execute this. What we have is this one. And here, why it's not letting it go? Null. Really? Null. Okay, let's execute this. Yes, one was affected, and we'll go for this one, and we can see it here. We have a the 108, and the value is null. But make sure before you entering a null values and department ID change it is to null, right? And this will this has inserted the Amir who does not work for any department. Department ID is null, right? Which you can see it on the screen, right? Now we have an employee in the employee table whose department ID is not present in the department table. You can see it on the screen. Let's perform the right join on the two tables. All right, let's get onto the code and see. I'll copy the code to the connector, and we call this as a right join. Right, we have a try now. After try, joining the two tables on department ID, right? We take it this way. So we call it as result is equal to code dot execute. Select employee dot ID, comma, employee dot name, comma, employee dot salary, comma, department dot department dot department underscore ID, and department dot department underscore name from department. Right join employee on department dot dept underscore id is equal to employee dot dept underscore id. So this is not departments, it's a department, right? DEPARTMANT. Where we are DEPARTMANT. Let's double check whether we have department or departments. Here we have departments. We have to remove the S and rest is clear, right? We go to the end of the line and see what we have. Now we need print ID, name, salary, department underscore ID, department underscore name. This is what we have. Now for row in cursor, then print of row of 0, comma, okay. Now we go for row of 1, then comma, then we'll go for row of 2, comma, then we'll go for row of 3, comma, single quotes, then we'll go for row of 4. Next we go for except, no, except my connection dot rollback. So that's, we are rollbacking my connection dot close. This will be our code. Let's try our code and see what will happen. So we are, the code is perfect, but we are not generating the result here. I don't know why. Let's check this code in our SQL editor. Let's go back here and check the code here and execute it. Do we have it? No, code error. We have some code error here. Employee ID, employee employee ID. So is something to do with that. ID, employee dot name, employee dot salary, employee dot name, employee dot department ID, DEPT ID. Okay, department name from department. Okay, then right join employee. We have employee on department ID and employee dot department ID. We have department ID and caps. Where department dot, okay, let's execute this. See, no. It might be something wrong with the query, so you guys try it on that and we'll move further to next topic, and this will be our left join. It will be same similar, where we can join the two tables from the left join covers all the data from the left hand side table. It has just opposite effect to the right join, opposite effect to the right hand join. Okay. Okay, let's check the code for the left join, and just we copy the previous example. There's not much difference between right join and left join. Now we'll focus on left join. Left join. Now you can see that rest of the things will be same, but we need to have a right join. Instead of right join, we'll use a left join. Right. So we have it here as a left join of employee and department dot department ID. So left join employee, right? From departments left join employee on departments dot department ID, department employee dot department ID. So this will be department, and this will be department. This will be department, and this will be department, right? Now this is the code what we can do. Now here we can see it. We have a result. What we have, ID is none, name is none, salary is none, ID department is 101, and department name is, what we have is this. Why the previous code has not been executed? Let's check it out. We might have done something wrong here. Because of that reason, this code has not been executed properly. That's the reason we have not got the result. Now let's execute this. Yes, we have got the results now. There was a mistake there, like ID, name, salary, department, and department name. So we have nothing for that, right? This is the left join and the right join. Hope this helped you a lot. Mhm. But basically, it should be giving the 201, 202, 201 department ID, and it should give the department name. There is something going on with department ID, department name, from department region, employee on department ID and department name. Where department ID and department name. We might have messed up with the department ID column and this one. They both are not matching in a perfect way. It might be that reason, so we are not getting the proper answer here. Just focus on the concept what we are dealing with, right? Let's move on to commit method. And what is commit method? Python provides the commit method which ensure the changes made to the database constantly take place. The syntax to use the commit method is connection.commit. Connection is the connection object which we are connecting to the database. Like here you can see it on the screen, like this is the connection is connect, right? All the operations that modifies the records of the database do not take place until commit is called. And the next one is Python rollback. The rollback method is used to revert the changes that are done to the database. This method is useful in the sense that if some error occurs during the database operations, we can roll back the transaction to maintain the database constantly. The syntax to use the rollback is connection.rollback. And the closing the connection, we need to close the database connection once we have done all the operations regarding the database. Python provides the close method. The syntax to use the close method is connection.close. In this example, we can find out how the connection is going to close, but previously in previous examples, we have already seen how our connection is closed. Now we'll try to use the right, the closing connection, the my connection dot close. That means the database connection which was open will be closed for that session. Right. This will be the end of the SQL to the Python. So hope you guys understood all the concepts what we have discussed in last three sessions. If you have any questions, queries, feel free to contact me and practice more, practice in a different scenarios. You'll be perfect. All right, guys, take care and see you next session. Take care. Bye bye.